Okay, so let's go over the questions on the measurement test. Please make sure that you are writing down everything that I wrote down in green. If you do not, you will not get credit and you will not get your 70. So please make sure that you write down everything I write down. Number 1 says, which object is most likely to weigh an ounce? The correct answer would be C, a pencil. A chair is going to be heavier. It's going to be weighed in pounds. A cow is going to be very heavy. It's also going to be weighed in pounds. And a phone, it's something that might be weighed in ounces, but it's not going to weigh just 1 ounce. So that was an important thing to look at, was it just says an ounce. That means 1 ounce. So a phone may not weigh a whole pound. It may be measured in ounces, but they were looking for something that was only 1 ounce. So the correct answer should have been C. Number 2, the scout troop met on Saturday. The meeting was over at 9:20 a.m. If the meeting started at 8:30, how long did the meeting last? So you should have drawn a T-chart starting with 8:30 and then adding 10 minutes got you to 8:40. Adding 10 more minutes got you to 8:50. Adding 10 more minutes got you to 9 o'clock. 10 more minutes, 9:10. And 10 more minutes, 9:20. And it said 9:20 was the stop time. Now, how much time was in between there? So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 50 minutes. So come over here. A says 50 minutes. You should have made a T-chart. If your T-chart did not look like this, you did not do it correctly. All right, let's look at number 3. Pam served lemonade to her guests. The drink dispenser held 8 gallons of lemonade. How many quarts of lemonade does that drink dispenser hold? Well, if you looked at your star reference chart, you could have seen that 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. Now, if we look at the chart, how did we get from 1 to 4, from 2 to 8, from 3 to 12? Well, 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, 3 times 4 is 12. So if we have 8 gallons, and we know we have 4 quarts in a gallon, we're going to multiply 8 times 4, which I know from my multiplication facts is 32. So my answer should be C, 32. Please make sure that you write down everything I write down. Number 4, which of the following has the capacity of 1 gallon? 1 gallon. So think about 1 gallon as a gallon of milk, a jug of milk that you see in your refrigerator. Okay, a bathtub? No, a bathtub is going to hold several gallons of water. A lot of you chose a bathtub. If you've ever filled up your bathtub, it's going to be way more than a jug of milk. A pitcher of Kool-Aid, a lot of you didn't know what a pitcher was. A pitcher of Kool-Aid, a pitcher of tea. When you've seen your parents or your grandparents make a pitcher, they put the tea or the Kool-Aid in there, then they pour water in it, and then they stir, and it's a big container. A medicine syringe, that's going to be not a gallon, that's going to be milliliters. Remember, that's how you take that little medicine cup when you're sick. Or a swimming pool. Well, a swimming pool is going to be several gallons also. It's bigger than a bathtub. So the correct answer should have been B. All that took was a little thinking. Number 5, how many hours is 240 minutes? Now, we know 1 hour is 60 minutes, right? Because we can look at our reference chart to find that. So 60 minutes plus 60 minutes is 120 minutes. Well, that's 2 hours. I'm still trying to get to 240 minutes. Okay, so let me add another 60 minutes. Well, that gets me to 180 minutes. Well, that's 3 hours, okay? I need to keep going because I need to get to 240. Let me add another 60 minutes, and I do actually get to 240, which is 4 hours. So then I come over to my answer choices and I pick C. Make sure you have all of this in green written down. Number 6, the perimeter of a playground is 360 feet. Which model below could represent the playground? So you should have gone to each square and said, if this side's 120, then this side's 120. If this side's 30, then this side's 30. Now, perimeter, remember, is length plus width plus length plus width. So let's write that at the top. Length plus width plus length plus width. So that's why we're doing all this addition. So in the first box, 120 plus 120, we get 240. Then 30 plus 30 is 60. Then when we add 240 plus 60 together, we get 300. Well, that's not correct because we're looking for 360. Go to the next box. If this one's 80, then this one's 80. If this one's 75, then this one's 75. Okay, the formula, 80 plus 80 gives me 160. 75 plus 75 gives me 150. 160 plus 150 gives me 310. That's not the correct answer because, again, I'm looking for 360. Let's go to the bottom one over here. If this is 135, then this is 135. If this is 45, then this is 45. 135 plus 135, that gives us 270. 45 plus 45 gives us 90. 270 plus 90 gives us 360. Now that's what we're looking for, right? 360. So you had to do all of these until you found the correct answer. Some of you just chose the first one. Some of you tried to do area. It said specifically perimeter. Number 7, Mrs. Wong walks around the basketball court on the playground every day during recess. The length of the court is 25 feet and the width is 47 feet. What is the area of the basketball court? Well, area equals length times width. We even did one of these exactly like it, maybe even this exact problem in class. So if I've got 25 and 47, I've got to multiply those two numbers together, okay? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication. 5 times 7, 35. 5 times 4, 20, plus 3, 23. My top row should be 235. 0 is a placeholder. 2 times 7, 14. Carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So my second row should be 940. Add them together. 5 plus 0 is 5. 3 plus 4 is 7. 9 plus 2 is 11. So then I should have 1,175 square feet. And you should have just typed that number in. Not a difficult question. We did one exactly like this on our Eduphoria practice. I think we did this exact one. Number 8. All right, first step. It says Mrs. Johnson is replacing the carpet in one of her bedrooms with floor tiles. Use the model to determine the length, width, and area of the floor. Choose the correct answer from the drop-down menu. The length of the bedroom is, well, all you had to do was count, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, and if you didn't know that this was the length and this was the width, this has 11 squares. So it had to be the length because look, there's no 14 up here. Then you count the width and you should get 14 squares. Circle 14. Now it asks for the area. Area we know is length times width. Again, 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 0 is a placeholder. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Add them together, 154. So then the third box you should have picked 154. Again, guys, this was not a difficult question. Not at all. Number 9, how many days are in 52 weeks? Well, if you had looked at your reference chart, then you would have seen that 1 week has 7 days, or maybe you just remember that from just knowing. So if I have 52 weeks, I'm going to multiply that by 7 because there's 7 days in each of these 52 weeks. 7 times 2, 14, carry my 1. 7 times 5, 35, plus 1 is 36. So my answer should have been 364. You can't just say, well, there are 52 weeks is a year and there's 365 days in a year. It's specifically asking you for this. You have to work it out like this. Number 10, Manny planted a garden in the shape of a rectangle with a width of 8 feet. The length of the garden is 9 feet longer than its width. What is the perimeter? Now, if we know this is 8, then this is 8, correct? Now, it didn't say that the length was 9. It said the length was 9 feet longer than the width. Some of y'all didn't even read the question. So I know that I have to say 8 plus 9, and that gives me 17. So then this side is 17, and this side is 17. Now I'm finding perimeter, which is length plus width plus length plus width. So 17 plus 17 is 34. 8 plus 8 is 16. 34 plus 16 is 50. So my answer is 50. And remember, we talked about one like this. If you use addition to get it, this is what the same thing is. 8 times 2, which is what we did, 8 plus 8. 17 times 2, which is what we did, 17 plus 17, and we get 50. So this one should have been 50, and this one should have been 8 times 2 plus 17 times 2 equals 50. Because remember, one of the formulas is length times 2 plus width times 2 gives you perimeter. Okay, number 11, Tammy cut out a piece of fabric so she could put a patch on a quilt. The size of the piece of the fabric is the same as the figure. Okay, what is the perimeter? Again, it's asking for perimeter, addition. This side is 6, this side is 6. If this side is 5, then this side is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10, 6 plus 6 is 12, 10 plus 12 is 22. This was the easiest problem on the entire test, and some of you actually missed it. Very simple. Very simple. You could have used your fingers on this, guys. Nobody should have missed this problem. Hang on, I'm on the wrong page. Let me find, here's 12. Okay. Caden bought a 5-gallon jug of water. How many quarts of water are in the jug? Well, I know that there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon because I looked at my star reference chart. Then it says each gallon is equal to how many quarts? Well, that's where I'm putting 4 because that's what it's saying. 4 quarts is equal to 1 gallon. Then it's saying the jug has how many quarts of water? Well, if it's a 5-gallon jug and each gallon has 4 quarts, I'm going to multiply 4 times 5 to get 20. So then in this blank, I should have dragged down 20. Okay, number 13. Lucinda started babysitting at 5:45 p.m. and finished babysitting at 10:15 p.m. Choose the correct answer from each drop-down menu to complete the statement. Okay, she started at 5:45 and she ended at 10:15. So I've got to add time until I get to 10:15. 10 minutes, 5:55. 5 more minutes, 5 o'clock. Okay, now look, 1 hour, 6 o'clock, 1 hour, 7, 1 hour, 8, 1 hour, 9, 1 hour, 10. 15 more minutes, 10:15. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. And then 10 plus 5 is 15, and this 15, and 15 plus 15 is 30. So Lucinda babysat for 5 hours and 30 minutes. Now you could have started here and gone 1 hour, which would have been 6:45, but I chose to get to a number it's easier to work with before I did that. But either way would have worked. But you had to have made a T-chart or you're not going to know the answer. And this is what I mean by a T-chart for time. I'm not talking about a multiplication or division T-chart. I'm talking about time T-charts. Number 14, Luke arrives at school at 8:20 a.m. He left for school 45 minutes earlier. What time did he leave for school? So again, you should have made a T-chart and put 8:20 at the top, and you're working backwards. You have to go 45 minutes backwards to see what time he left. 10 minutes would be 8:10. 10 more minutes would be 8 o'clock. Now 10 more minutes, remember I have to go, because 7:59... 7:58, 7:57, 56, 55, 54, 53, 52, 51, 50. So it will be 7:50. Then 10 more minutes, 7:40, and then 5 minutes, 7:35. 10, 20, 30, 40, 5. So then he left at 7:35. Again, making a T-chart, this is what I mean. If you didn't do it like this, you probably didn't get it correct. Number 15, Kimmy looked at the clock to see how long she had until her favorite television show. If Kimmy's favorite show starts at 7, how long will she have to wait for the show? This clock says 5:45. So that was the start time. A lot of you kept asking me which one was the hour hand. That's something we learned in kindergarten, guys. You've got to learn how to read a clock. The small hand is the hour hand. The long hand is the minute hand. 5:45. Her show started at 7. 1 hour, 6:45. I can't go another hour or I'll be over. So 10 more minutes gets me to 6:55, and 5 minutes gets me to 7 o'clock. So 1 hour and 15 minutes, which would have been C. Now, the bonus says Benito has 4 video game players like the one shown below. The line segment represents the width of the video game player. Okay, so you had to take your ruler and you had to turn it to the inches side, and then you had to measure from here to here, and most of you were able to do that and you were able to get 4 inches. But then you didn't read the problem, you didn't read the question, you just went down here and circled 4. The question says, use the ruler provided to measure the line segment beside the video player. What is the total width of the 4 video game players? So he had 4 inches here, but he had 4 of them. So 4 times 4 is 16. So the answer was 16. So a lot of you just stopped after you got this and went and picked an answer and didn't even read the question. Very, very important. Make sure you read everything they've given you. All right, make sure everything is written that I wrote in green that's on your paper, and then you can turn it in.